नमः पार्वती पतये गोविंद नाम संकीर्तनम।
So namaste everyone. So very happy to see you all here once again. So before starting the session, we'll start with the prayer. Shuklam Vardaram Vishnum Shashivaranam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vighnopashantayim. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Guruve Nam Vishaje Bhavaroginam Nidiye Sarva Vidyanam Dakshinamurti Namaha. தென்னாடுடைய பெரியவா போற்றி எந்நாட்டவர்க்கும் இறைவா போற்றி சர்வஜ்ஞா சர்வவ்யாபி பெரியவா சரணம் மாயப்பிறப்பருக்கும் மகா பெரியவாடி போற்றி. ஆத்யஸ்ய யதோ அன்வயாதிதரதஸ்சார்த்தேஷு அபிஜ்ஞः ஸ்வராட்டம் தேனே பிரம்மஹ்ருதாயாதி கவயே முஹ்யந்தி யத் சூரயः तेजो वारिमृदां यदा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तगुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्. So I think in the last session we have seen about Sadasiva Brahmendra, and we compared Sukacharya with Sadasiva Brahmendra, like how Sadasiva Brahmendra has said, Chintamani, I got a Chintamani, like Guru is compared to Chintamani. Chintamani is a money, it's a pearl, it's a bead, which gives everything, whatever we want. That is how the Guru is. Guru is considered as a Chintamani. Here, Parikshit is also, Maharaja Parikshit, he is also searching for a Guru. He has come to the Gangadhiram in search of Guru. So now he was searching for a Guru, and now he got a Chintamani. Not an ordinary Guru like a Chintamani, like Sugabrahma. Sugabrahmam is like Chintamani. So he got such a Guru, Sugabrahma Rishi. And Maharaja Parikshit, he is also known as Vishnu Rathan, because he is always protected by Vishnu, even in the womb, even when he was Uttara, like he was protected by Vishnu, Mahavishnu. So he is called as Vishnu Rathan. So he was waiting, he was seeing that Sukacharya was coming, like, he was, Sugabrahma, he left everything. He was like that. So he is surrounded by all the rishis and munis and jnanis and sages, and he was coming like that. And all the people, there, they were all looking Sugabrahma as something extraordinary person, something extraordinary. So he was coming towards Parikshit Maharaja, and this Parikshit Maharaja, he bowed, he did namaskaram, he bowed his head to receive Sukacharya. So all the sages, even Mahans, even sages, saints, they were all surrounded, they are all present there. See, they never came there using their yogic power. They came to the Gangadhiram, but then by walk. Because, they came there as if going on a pilgrimage. But these rishis, these, sages, they don't, they do not have even an iota of papam, sin. They came there walking to sweep away our sins. That's why they are all, walking throughout the Bharatam, throughout the country of India, Mahans and sages, they have all walked, throughout the country. So that in order to sweep away our sins. So Bhagavata Slokam tells the names of the rishis who came there and assembled there. Therefore, the sages who came to meet Parikshit Maharaja also, because they came there to meet the Maharaja Parikshit, who was a very good person, very pious person. They were not very much, interested in getting themselves purified like other common, men. But on the plea of taking a bath, taking a bath in that place, in Gangadhiram, they came there to meet Maharaja Parikshit because they could, they could sense, they could sense that, they could see that Srimad Bhagavatam would be spoken by Sukacharya. So they wanted to hear the Bhagavatam. Now this is going to happen. All the rishis and sages are seeing. They know what is going to happen. So they were present there. So they all wanted to take the advantage of that great occasion. So from different parts of the universe, there arrived great sages. See, Bhagavatam gives the names of the sages like Atri, Shavana, Shraddha, Arishtanemi, Bhrigu, Vasishta, Parashara, Vishwamitra, Angirasa, Parashurama, Uttatya, Indrapramadha, Indravamsho, Medha, Titi, Devala, Arishtanemi, Bharadwaja, Gautama, Pippaladar, Maitreya, Aurava, Kavasar, Kumbhayani, and Dvaipayana, Vyasa, Dvaipayana. And all these sages, they are all assembled there with Narada, the divine sage, Narada. See, thus he says about 32 rishis there. 32 rishis. You see, in those days, what happens is, in those days, people used to do Bhagavata Saptagam. The Saptagam, inviting all the rishis. They do Avahanam for all they use the, they do Avahanam for all the 32 rishis and do Bhagavata Saptagam. At least we should know the names of these rishis, because it will give punyam to us. If you at least chant the names of those rishis or saints, it will give some kind of punyam to us. So they used to do this Bhagavata Saptagam, inviting all these rishis according to the Kaushika Samhita. So if we do the Bhagavata Saptagam with utmost faith, according to this, we get whatever we want. Even in the Laukikam also, we get all those wishes, will be fulfilled. Even in the Paramarthikam also, we will get all those things will be fulfilled. I have heard from Sengalipuram Anantarama Dikshadhar, Mahans like Muttannawal and Paruttiyur Shastrigal, they reached the Vaikundam without any struggle. Doing all these Bhagavata Saptagam, he says one can determine, or one comes to know the time of death if you do accordingly. So dharmam is always, dharmam always appears as Eka Rupam only. So other saintly demigods, kings from other dynasties, everyone are assembled together to meet the Maharaja Parikshit and as well as this Sukabrahman, Sukacharya. So Maharaja Parikshit, now he was prostrating to Sukacharya and he asked him, oh Lord, see, the time is only, I have been given only 7 days time. So what should I do? What should I take? What should I leave? And what should I retain? See, I know there is a paralokam there. But I don't want, I don't know where from I have come. And I don't know my travel, my travel from one janmam to another. So I don't know where from I have come, and I don't know where I am going to go. So in the meanwhile, during this lifetime, it's like everything seems to be attractive. Everything seems to be decorative and attractive. Say, Avyaktadini Bhutani Vyaktamadhyani Bharata Avyakta nidanamyeva tatra ka paridevana. Because everything seems to be very, very, very gorgeous and glittery and everything. So I got only 7 days time. Please protect me. So he was saying that, and he is prostrating to Sukacharya. He is doing namaskarams to Sukacharya, and Sukacharya gave him Abhaya Pradhanam. Abhaya Pradhana means it's a very big thing. Like Mahangal, they say, don't worry, don't get scared. See, that is why Parikshit said, I don't want moksha. I don't want moksha. How many ever times I take birth again and again and again, there has to be some Mahan, there has to be some Guru, Acharya, to say, don't get scared. See, this is a very big thing. Don't get scared. We are here. We are here to save you, and don't get scared. Nirbhayatvam. So don't get scared. See, it's called Abhaya Pradhana. When the Guru or Acharya says to us, then we don't have to get scared of anything. Even in the life, we don't have to get scared. That's called Abhaya Pradhana. But we have to, we have to surrender ourselves to this Mahan. We have to surrender ourselves to this Acharya. So Maharaja Parikshit said, whatever, Janmam comes, Bhagavat Smaranam. Bhagavat Smaranam means thinking of Lord. Thinking of Lord, always chanting the name of God and always thinking of the God. Sadhu Sangamam. Sadhu Sangamam means devotees. We have to be with the devotees. Always we have to be with the devotees. Association with the devotees of the Lord, must be there. So Mahangal says, Mahan, now that's said, oh Rajan, why are you getting scared? Why are you getting scared? See, you took the Janmam and asked a perfect question. You are the representative of so many people, so many people in asking this question. So you say you have only 7 days time. So you have done a lot of, punyam, because you have got 7 days time. You know that within this 7 days, nothing is going to happen. You're going to, die only at the 7th day. So you don't have to get scared. At least you have got 7 days time. So, this is Canto 1. Now we are moving to Canto 2 of Bhagavatam. Now Sukacharya says, my dear king, your question is, your question is so glorious because, it is beneficial to all kinds of people. It's beneficial to all kinds of people. To hear the answer to this question is the prime subject, prime subject matter of hearing. And it is approved by all the transcendentalists. So you have asked a perfect question now. Sukacharya said, oh Rajanam, at the end of Dwapara Yugam, I studied this great supplement of Vedic literature called Srimad Bhagavatam from my father, Dvaipayana Vyasacharya. Vyasacharya is the father of Sukacharya. So I have learned Srimad Bhagavatam from Vyasa, which is equal to all Vedas, which is equal to all. I was certainly, actually, I was certainly situated perfectly transcendence. Yet, I was all still attracted by the delineations, the pastimes of the Lord, the glories, who is described by enlightened verses. He also said, the very Srimad Bhagavatam I shall recite before you because, you are the most sincere devotee, most of Lord Krishna. He is a very pious person. Maharaja Parikshit is a very pious person. So, you are a most sincere devotee and one who gives full attention, one who gives full attention and respect to hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, achieves the, unflinching faith, unflinching faith in the Supreme Lord. the giver of salvation. Salvation means moksha. So what is the value of prolonged life, which is wasted? Better a moment of full consciousness, because that gives one, start in searching after the Lord. So here what happened is, he started telling, and now he starts telling the story of Katwangan, Maharaja Katwangan. Sukacharya is telling the story of Maharaja Katwangan here. There was a king called Maharaja Katwangan who was ruling Ayodhya. Once there was a battle between, Devas and Asuras. Always there will be a battle between Devas and Asuras. And Devendran is the head of, Devendran is the head of Devas, is the head of Devas, and he always, wants help from the earth, from these people from the earth. So he asks help from Katwangan, Raja Katwangan, because he's a great warrior. So with his help, Devas won the battle, and Devendran was very happy and very pleased. He said to Maharaja Katwangan, I will give you a boon. I want to give you a boon, and you ask for anything you want. Immediately what happened is, Maharaja Katwangan, he said, I want to know the time and date of my death. So Devendran was silent for a moment, for seconds, and he said, okay, you ask for some other boon, okay, which I will give you. Don't ask for this boon, I will give you some other boon, you ask some other thing. But Maharaja Katwangan was so determined, and he said, you can give me this boon only. You have to give this boon only. I want only this boon. So Devendran said, okay, so your life lasts only for a moment longer. He said, now Katwangan said, asked Devendran, can you give me your chariot for me? And so that I can go to this Gangadhiram. Gangadhiram means bank of river Ganga, and meet the sages and sadhus there, Mahans there. And Indra asked, are you okay? Why are you asking me the chariot? Are you okay? Everything is all right? Are you in some type of problem? Everything is okay? But Katwangan said, oh Lord, you give me your chariot, because if I take my chariot, it will take lots and lots of days to go to Gangadhiram. But your chariot, it's a Devendran's chariot, Deva's chariot, isn't it? So it can teleport people. So I want your chariot. I'll go with if I go with my chariot, then, it may take a long time. So the king at once, he got the chariot. He at once left that heavenly kingdom, where, which is always full of material enjoyment there, of the highest standard. So coming down to this earth, took ultimate shelter of the Supreme Lord, and he was successful in his great attempt, and then got liberation, and he went to Vaikuntham. This is the Katwangan story. Katwangan story Shukacharya was telling to Parikshit, and he told Parikshit, see, you have got 7 days left. No, don't worry. And he said, there are 3 types of people. 3 types of people in the whole world. One is called Mumukshukal, another is Yogigal, and other one is Jivan Muktarhal. So one has to get the Vairagyam after finding dosham in the samsara. Means in the life, during our life, dosham means, I have already told that dosham is a defect. Dosham means a defect. And that if one, finds dosham by other means, then that will not remain permanently. Suppose, for example, he has told one example. Anantaram Dikshidhar has told one example. It will be interesting example. Like, one person, if a wife doesn't give coffee to her husband, say, it's an example, like if a wife doesn't give coffee to her husband at 6 o'clock and the husband gets angry, you are not giving me coffee at time, so I'll get sannyasam. Now I am going to get sannyasam. And he is ready to get sannyasam. And if wife pleads, the next day, she says that from next day onwards, I'll give you coffee at 5:30. It's don't get sannyasam. And the person who has taken sannyasam that day, that is, who wore this saffron cloth, immediately he has changed into the white dhoti. Then that is not called vairagyam. That is why dosha darsanam means, dosha darsanam should come in the material aspects. Like, we don't have to prepare ourselves. We don't have to do any sankalpa for removing the darkness. If you keep on meditating, to the Lord, then brightness occurs. How the darkness is removed? When you switch on the light, the darkness is removed automatically. You don't have to put a lot of effort there. So brightness, which removes the darkness automatically. So constant chanting of the holy names of gods, and this removes the darkness. And doubtless and fearless ways, it gives success for all. So what happens is, Katvangan, he tells the story of this Katvangan to Maharaja Parikshita. See, even chanting of the holy names, holy names of gods, what happens, it will remove all the material desires, and all those who are desirous of all the material enjoyment, as well as who are self-satisfied by dint of transcendental knowledge. So that is why hearing the glories of Bhagavan develops a kind of love and attachment, that is prema to Bhagavan. We'll start to love Bhagavan. So if you start loving Bhagavan, what will happen? Then that will lead to doing good activities. So good activities will add punyam. So if we keep on adding punyam, then we will leave the taste of this material enjoyment. That is called dosha darsanam. So if there is dosha darsanam, then if there is dosha darsanam, then we will get vairagya. So everyone, even mumukshukal, even yogigal, they do Bhagavad Kathas, Shravanam is more important, because they have to do they have to leave all this prarabdha karma. So they do this Bhagavad Katha Shravanam. See, if you travel in a single bullock, then there is no fear of accident. So this is one way to see. See, if you do the Nitya Karma Anushtanam, see, so we do Nitya Karma Anushtanam, Sandhi, Yogam, everything. See, only for Bhagavat Smaranam. We do all these activities. All these activities should lead to Bhagavat Smaranam. It's not like just a procedure. That is not just like a work that we do and wind up things and come back. So the ultimate goal will, the ultimate goal is that, see, in a photo studio, if you take a photo studio, the photographer is taking a photograph, photo shoot. Then he wants to take that single click and he will perfect us. Sit like this, take the chin like this, the chin down, chin up, and everything he will say in order to take this single click. So the preparation time will be more. All these preparations are needed only for that single click. So that's how all our activities have to be focused on getting our final result. That is Bhagavat Smaranam. That is thinking of Lord always. So now Sukacharya says, Rajan, all the Upanishad says, by doing Bhagavat Smaranam always, one get Lord's thought, in his last hours. In the same way you have come during your last hours, because in the 7 days, this is for getting moksham at your last hours, that is the 7 days, you have come here for Bhagavat Smaranam. So don't get scared. I have learned the Vedas from my father Vyasacharya and Srimad Bhagavatam from Vyasacharya, which I will recite for you. Sukacharya was so compassionate. He started, reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam. So he narrated the story of the Maharaja Katwangan to emphasize that great Maharaja, Maharajas also had the taste, in the, Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Katha Shravanam. As Parikshit is also a Maharaja, so he should not think that as I am a king, how could I get into the spirit? He should not think like that. So he told Katwangan story, and he has to have the faith in whatever he is doing, Maharaja Parikshit. So Sukacharya told Katwangan story. So now Sukacharya started narrating Bhagavatam. See, Bhagavatam is a compilation of all the, not only Krishna story, but all the, how to offer prayers to Devatas, and about all the Devatas, about all the Devas, everything. So it's a full text of all the God as well as semi-gods, or everyone. So he started telling about the method of worshipping, not the method and modes of worship of different, see, there are different modes of worship for different persons, desiring success in a particular subjects. So Sukacharya said, out of 8,400,000 species of living entities, the human form of life is rare, is very much rare and valuable. And out of these rare human beings, those who are conscious of, those who are conscious of this material problem are rare still. And still more rare persons are those who are conscious of the value of Srimad Bhagavatam, because it contains the messages of God and the pure devotees. So he says death is inevitable for everyone, even intelligent. You may be intelligent or foolish, death is inevitable. So, but Maharaja Parikshit, here Maharaja Parikshit is addressed as a Manishi. Manishi means the man of highly developed mind, because at the time of death, he left all the material enjoyment and completely, because he was a Maharaja, but he left all the material enjoyment and he completely surrendered unto the lotus feet of the God by hearing his messages from the right person like Sukacharya. That is more important. So, but Sukacharya here, he started with saying about the Kamya Karma. First he starts about the Kamya Karma. He has to start from the beginning. So immediately he can't go to that Jnana Margam. So he starts with saying about the Kamya Karmas. That is about the Devatas or the demigods, which satisfies our wants. So Srimad Bhagavatam contains everything. Almost all of us have a wrong conception about our life, wrong conception of life, or we identify ourselves with the gross and subtle material bodies. But which they are, in fact, all the Vedas and Vedantas, but this Bhagavatam is a compilation of all the Vedas and Vedantas. So he says, now he started saying, like one who desires to be absorbed in the impersonal Brahma Jyoti effulgence. Brahma Jyoti effulgence called, the worship of Vedas. Lord Brahma, he has to worship Lord Brahma or Brihaspati, like Brahma Varchas. One who seeks Brahma Varchas should, pray to Brahma. One who desires Indriya Varchas, he should worship the heavenly Devendran, Indran. So one who desires the progenies should worship Prajapatis. So now he was telling all the devatas to be worshipped to fulfill all the desires. So we have got all the desires for living, and we have to worship all the devatas. So one who desires good fortune should worship Durga Devi, or he is the superintendent of the material world, Durga Devi. One desiring to be very powerful. If one wants to be very powerful, he should worship fire god. And one who aspires money should worship Vasus. And one who worship the Rudra, worship the Rudra, the incarnation of Lord Shiva, he will be a very great hero. He will become a very great hero. So one who wants to large stock of inventory like grains should worship Aditi. One who desires a worldly kingdom, he should worship Vishwadeva. One who wants popularity should worship Sandhya Devi, demigod. One who desires health, with long span of life, he should worship Ashwini Devatas, Ashwini Kumaras. One who wants a strong built body should worship the earth. And for stabilization, stabilization in his past should worship the, in his job, he should worship the horizon and the earth together. Horizon and the earth, combined. Who desire to be very, one who wants to be very beautiful, he should worship Gandharva planet. For good wife, Apsara, and Urvasi. For good bank balance, Varuna. So many devatas. He started telling about so many devatas. But generally, he says that if you want to get jnanam, great, generally learned and jnanam, then he should worship Lord Parameshwara. For good, marital relationship, he should worship the chaste goddess Uma Devi, Uma, wife of Lord Shiva. So one who desires domination over a kingdom, he should worship Manus. One who desires victory or should worship demons. And for sense gratification, the moon god. So, but one, see, he was telling all the devatas who has to be worshipped for getting desires. But if one who desires nothing of material enjoyment should worship the Supreme Personality of the Lord. See, a person who has broader intelligence and who may be full of all the material desires, or maybe without any material desires, and who also desires liberation, by all means, must worship the Supreme Personality, that is Lord Sakshat Narayana, Vishnu, Mahavishnu. So this is like taking a bath in the ocean, because taking bath in the ocean means taking bath in all rivers. That is how it is. So now after this, Sukacharya says about all this devatas to Parikshit. Here the Shaunakadigal, ask questions. Sukacharya explains actually, great Nityagnihotrihal, like, great Mahans are waiting to hear from Sutar also there sitting. This is the first start, Sutar was telling to Shaunakadigal. So they say, because of the punyam of Agnihotram, today we came here to hear this Bhagavatam. So the simple way to attain moksha is Bhagavad Katha Shravanam. That is hearing Bhagavata Kathehal, glories of God. One who is not, who has not listened to the glories and messages about the prowess and marvelous acts of the God, and has not, sung or chanted loudly the songs of the gods. God is to be considered as to possess ear holes like that of a snake, and the tongue like that of a frog. You have seen the tongue of the frog. You know, it goes like this and that. That's all the tongue is. You have to chant Bhagavan Nama, and you have to hear Bhagavad Katha Shravana. Otherwise, the ear hole is like a snake hole. He may be a rich man, and even a king with a crown. The Lord is Lord for all, for everyone. So including great emperors, that is kings. So he has to bow down. He has to bow down before the God or in the temple. Otherwise, this crown itself, is considered as a burden only. So, and the hands, though decorated with, glittering bangles and everything, is if it is not engaged in the service of the God, it's considered as a dead man's hand. So the eyes, which do not look at the symbolic representation of Vishnu, his forms, his names, his glory, his quality, or like those printed on the plumes of the peacock. The feather of the peacock, no? Like that. It's simply like it's a decorative ornament only. So the legs which do not move to the holy places, if it is not moving to the holy places, are considered to be only like a tree trunk. The person who has not at any time received the dust of the lotus feet of the pure devotees, sadhus or mahans of the Lord upon his head, certainly is considered as a dead body. So, and the person who has never experienced the flavors of the tulasi leaves, from the lotus feet of the Lord, is also considered as a dead body, although breathing. So certainly that, heart is a steel framed, or a granite, or like a granite stone, which in spite of, listening, in spite of listening the holy names of God with concentration, does not change when ecstasy takes place, and tears, tears fill the eyes and hair stand on the end. So now Shaunakadigal, asked Shukar to explain Bhagavatam given by Sukacharya to Parikshita. So now he is trying to explain this. Sukacharya, full of tears, went to an ecstatic state and offered his namaskarams, obeisance, unto the Supreme Personality. He said, let me offer my namaskaram to the Supreme Lord, Prabhu, Swami, who is the creator of the world, who resides within the body of everyone, and whose ways, the Lord's ways, are inconceivable, and who is the liberator from the distresses of the pious devotees, and the destroyer of the further advances in atheistic temperament of the non-devotee, and who is the associate of the Yadu dynasty, because they are all like that. Who is the supreme enjoyer? Who is the supreme enjoyer of both the material and spiritual, spiritual worlds? Yet he enjoys his own abode. Yet he enjoys his own abode in the spiritual sky. So there is no equal to him, because his transcendental affluence, that is, it's very immeasurable. That is, it is immeasurable. He said, let me offer my obeisance to that Prabhu, about whom glorifications, remembrances, audience, prayers, hearing, and worship can at once cleanse the effects of all the sins of the performer. I surrender to the Lord who is Sriyaspati, who is Yajnapati, who is Yogapati, who is Bhupati, and who is the Jagatpati. He is the Gati for me. So those who do tapas means penance, and those who do dhanam means charity, those who gets popularity, those who do mantra jabam, those who do puja, whatever we do, if we don't do it with Krishnarpanam, without Krishnarpanam, then everything will go waste. If we do Krishna Arpanam, at last we have to Arpanam, we have to do everything to Krishna, we have to offer everything to Krishna. Then all our doshams, due to our karma, jati, and everything will go. Everything will be, gone. So, Sukacharya says that, we have to do Krishna Arpanam for everything, whatever we do. See, in India, if if a currency note, if it has gone bad, if it is ripped or something, then we have to go to the Reserve Bank of India to get a new currency note in India. So similarly, Krishnanusmaranam param means all the defects will be removed when we chant Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. If I have, I think I am running out of time. I think I can wind up this session today with this, and how Vidura, how in Mahabharatam, Vidura, how Vidura does Krishnarpanam. Everything he offered to Krishna. That we will see in the next session. We'll continue with the next session next week. Okay. So we'll close this session with the Purnamadam. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you.